Monday and Wednesday, what kind of shirt would they have on? Oh, good. And if it's Fridays, they can have on a? So when they sneak out of the house, and because they will, and they get here, and I'm calling you going, this, cutie patootie has on the wrong stuff, we will be calling, because I've got to set it in place at the beginning of the year. It doesn't stick. With that being said, we have a lot of new families, a lot of people who are doing things at the last minute. I hope my kids have their uniforms when I get home. And there's going to be exceptions on the first week or two of school. But please know that we are going to really be enforcing uniforms. So read your handbook. So my next slide is the family handbook has the answers. I stuck in there really quick a little bit about social media. It is a wonderful thing. It's fun, but it's a horrible thing at the same time. Inappropriate comments on your students' accounts, if they are brought to me, I'm not going to go out there fishing to try to find somebody and get them in trouble. I do not have enough time in my day, and it breaks my heart to fuss at people. So I send them to Clint, and he can fuss at them, and then anyway. So if something is brought to my attention, because with all of the bullying that everybody claims, the moment that somebody says something about, your shoes are white, and they're like, yeah, I have on white shoes. Well, then it turns into bullying or something, I have to look into it, okay? Some things I just look into and I note it. Other things, I have to bring people into my office. I have to bring parents into my office. I have to bring multiple students to question them in my office. If it's something that Clint and I think that we need to look into, we're going to. So you at home, and I'm going to point my finger right now, I didn't give your students a social media account. I didn't. But I don't want it at school. I don't want other students harassed by it. I do not want legacy shirts on it and them doing something silly that they shouldn't be doing. I don't want them being represented as a legacy student on something on social media that is inappropriate. Now, we all have different levels of things that are inappropriate in our homes. I can't tell you what you do in your home. I can't. And I don't want to. And I don't want you to tell me what to do in mine. But at school, we have guidelines, and we're going to follow those, and we're going to stick by them. But I guarantee you, every situation is different, every time. So every time it takes a lot of investigation. Sometimes Ashley and I have spent days. I don't have that time. You guys need me for other things. I want to do other things. So if we can stick together and work on this, we can just, kick that social media in the shin. So, okay, that's all I'm going to say. But I'm going to talk to the kids about it again tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. Students are not allowed to have their phones during the school day. High school students may use their phones at lunch. They were this close last year from having that privilege taken away. So if it becomes a problem, individually they get taken up, and then everyone suffers for silliness. So I don't want that to happen. All right, let's go on to the next slide about working with your teacher. So together we can fulfill our vision and motto, here I am, send me. It takes a team. I believe that. I know you believe that, and that's why you're here. So let's work together. What is fabulous about Legacy is that we have that communication. You and your student can email their teachers. The teachers will be emailing you. There is constant communication, and I love that. And that's one of the beautiful things that I saw last year coming here. I saw 6th graders emailing teachers back and forth about information on their home days. I love that. But there's also appropriate ways to do that. So the next slide is an example of a nice email. First of all, you want to have a title. The teacher wants to know what you're talking about, because some teachers teach multiple classes, and some students may be in their class, have them for multiple classes. So, Mrs. Carrico, we are having trouble with number 5 on lesson 15, and you can read the rest of it. But if she doesn't know what you're talking about, because she could have given 2 different assignments, she could be talking about 2 different videos, be as specific as possible, and she will get back with you as soon as possible. And you have to understand that some of your teachers do have, 60 students, but within the school day, they will be getting back with you. And the teachers will be talking to you about that today when you meet them and as you get to know them. Email them. Find out anything you want to know about them. Okay. I'm going to throw this in. I really don't have a slide for it. Monday is the big eclipse. So I'm not a science guru, so I don't remember the last time we had one, but it's going to be a full eclipse, but not here. But it is still very dangerous for our students to look up in the sky without protective eye gear. So we will not be going to recess on Mondays. We will have to train, switch classes and things like that. So we're going to have the students, look down. Please go over this with your students at home. I cannot tell you enough that if we say it, but they're not going to listen. They need to know ahead of time how important this is. Maybe you want to watch a video over it over the weekend and talk about it. It's all about safety. But our high school students, we're going to bring them out during the best part of it, which is about 1:15, so a few minutes before and a few minutes after. We don't need to be out there for a long time to watch it. We have purchased safety goggles that are approved by their iOS certified solar eclipse viewing glasses. So we have those, but if your student is going to be able to go out and view that, we have release forms that we need you to sign. So we'll have them in the, upstairs today in the classrooms and at the front desk before you leave. And then I had a fabulous parent who called me and wanted to donate for her student's class and purchase these sunglasses, these goggles, viewing glasses for them. And so we as a school said, okay, you know what, but let's do it for all of our high school kids. So we've already purchased them, but we would love donations to pay back our science fund for these. So if any of you would like to donate a few dollars here or there, you may do that. I'm going to leave that up front with Miss Karen at the front desk as you leave today. And they have until Monday to bring back the release form. All right, next slide. Workload surveys. So in the fall and in the spring, we send home workload surveys. You should see that in your weekly email. You'll know when they're coming through the weekly email. So as you read your weekly email, you'll know that those are coming and that they will be, you will be looking at the time that it takes your student to do each class. How much work did they put in? How much time? Now, we know that there are some students who are just methodical and they are working twice the time that they should be because that's just them. We know some students don't need to spend as much time as usually recommended. And we know that there's that average student. So it helps us gauge that what our teachers are putting on there, if it's too much, not enough, because we want to challenge them as much as we can, but we don't want to overload them. So these workload surveys are very, very important. And Mrs. Dunn takes those in and goes over those. All of us look at them, but aren't they emailed to you, Mrs. Dunn, when it's done? Okay. So please be looking for those and help us out. It just helps us. It helps us help you and helps you know all the way around. It helps everyone. I'm not going to go over that slide yet. Oh, eclipse. Okay. Today, when you guys visit classrooms, we've grown. We told y'all we've grown. We have multiple teachers in the classrooms. We always have. But now in some classrooms we may have 4 teachers. So 4 classrooms may be coming in and out, and we did not know how to make this any easier. So our teachers have on shirts like this, and they can introduce themselves as you walk in the room, but be patient because it's going to be busy up there, and they will all get to you. They want to meet you, but there's a lot of people up there. So, and we have a new 6th grade teacher who we started hiring last week, and she's here because we grew. We needed another section of science. So her name is Liz Kuna, and if you meet her, she's amazing, but she is so terrified because she doesn't feel prepared. And we're like, we're going to take care of you. We're going to get you going. We've got our lesson plans ready. Last night she was learning how to do Praxis. But she needs a little bit of time, but she's being very hard on herself. So if you see her, tell her she's doing a great job. She is going to be amazing. She is a great person. She's going to love on these kids, and she has lots of experience she's bringing to Legacy. Oh, the other thing. I know, how much time have I been talking? Because we're growing, and because we always have to replace pieces of furniture over the summer. So we did that. And we ordered our tables, and we ordered our chairs, and Miss Shalana Crethers has got them all in place. But then we grew, and we had to add sections. So we have a couple of classrooms that don't have any tables or any chairs in them. They're supposed to be here on Friday, so we might need some parents here on Friday. If you want some service hours, we need people to unwrap the chairs in lots of cellophane and help carry them out to classrooms and get those set up. So if you will leave your name at the front desk with Mrs. Beeman, she can start a list, and we can give you guys a call to come up here and help. Even if those things are not in place by Friday, and here we go, Monday, first day of school, we're going to make it happen. We have other spots we can go. We can meet in the cafeteria if we need to. We can meet in the cafes if we need to. We have a teacher's workroom we can meet in. We will make it happen. We can go outside for about 5 minutes because it's going to be so hot and the eclipse is happening. But we will figure it out. We can come in the gym if we need to during the middle of the day. We will figure it out. But I don't want you guys to freak out. We'll freak out. We'll take care of them. The kids will love it. I mean, who wouldn't love coming to school with no desk? They're thinking, I'm not going to have to do anything. I think that's it. Did I miss anything? Going over anything? Oh, okay. I wrote this down. Dress code. So our kids were really strict with our dress code, okay? We have parents that come in, and you guys are all beautiful, and you always look great, but sometimes if you have on workout clothes and your backside's not covered or your front's not completely covered, it's just not appropriate for our middle school and high school kiddos. We have lots of hormones raging in this place like everywhere else. And the reason for our dress code is to not focus on those things, but to focus on our studies and be in class and not have crazy, clothes, revealing body parts that we don't need to be revealed and all that kind of stuff. So I'm asking, because I had a gentleman who works on our campus last year come to me and say, I've seen a couple of parents up here, they were moms, thank goodness it wasn't dads, with shorts that are just a little too short, and it bothers me because I know, we're in care of these boys, and what are we trying to teach them? We're trying to teach them modesty. We're trying to teach them don't focus on the body. We're looking at, that's not what we're here for. So I need your help, and I need you to remind your friends. So if you have a friend that happened to miss today, and they're always around in the workout clothes and all that, I'm excited that you guys work out. I need to be there working out with you more. But we have to be covered. So grab a sweater before you come in. Just if you don't mind. It's not because, it's just solely because of wandering eyes. And in the 9th grade, we split our kids up to every man's battle class and every woman's battle, every young man's battle and every young woman's battle. That's what we're teaching them. We're teaching them that is not what we should be focusing on. And then we allow other people, even siblings coming in to football games, volleyball games, things like that. I see some girls with some pretty short shorts. I see, it's not for here. So if you guys could help us out, that would be great. Now am I done? Okay. I'm excited to see y'all. If y'all have any questions that I can help you with, it has been a crazy last week. It's going to be crazy next week. I will get to you as soon as I can, but email me, call me, and I'll get with you as soon as I can. Clint.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? My name's Clint McDonald. I'm the Dean of Students. And this summer, we had a Strength Finders book that we were encouraged to do by Mrs. May. And if you haven't figured it out yet, you will, that we were challenged to find our complete opposites. And Shannon and I are complete opposites. That's why we work so well together. So, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. There you go. That's right. So I want to talk to you about our new demerit system, okay? This is part of our discipline. This is something that's new this year. So it's going to be new to our students as well. And what we're doing with that, we have different levels of demerits, okay? So your minor things, dress code, chewing gum, cell phone usage, you get earned a demerit, okay? Once you get to 6 demerits in a quarter, because we have 4 quarters in the year, that earns you a detention, okay? And those will be morning detentions. That way they have to get out of bed and come to school extra early, all right? Now, the more serious offenses, such as disrespect to a teacher in the classroom, disrespect to another student, those will earn you an automatic detention, okay? So there's different levels. And if it's something that we're seeing behavior-wise over and over again, then we'll escalate from a detention to Saturday school, in-school suspension, on up the ladder, that type of thing, okay? Now, a lot of times there's not a whole lot of serious stuff that goes on, but we want to make sure that we so-called nip it in the bud to get it right so our students feel safe on campus and also can work well with each other. Now, I will say as Dean of Students, I'm not just the disciplinarian, okay? I'm here to be a voice for your students and also to be helping out with campus activities with them. So if there's something going on and they need to talk to me about something or you feel they need to, just let me know. My office, you saw, is just right around the corner right there, and it's open anytime to any student. And if it's something that is affecting them and I feel like, it's something they're going to hurt themselves or something, I will make sure and contact you, okay? But if there's things going on that maybe mom and dad don't need to know about, then that's kind of what I'm here for as well, okay? I do want to say a couple of reminders for our high school kids. They're to use the upstairs restroom. It's for the high school. Middle school has their restrooms out in the portables. And then also, did you talk about cars? Going to cars? No. If they need to go to their car, we would like for them not to have to do that. But if they do, they need to come see me or Mrs. Jones, and we'll check them out through the front with Mrs. Beeman, that type of thing. Okay? So the demerit, if you have more questions about that, I can talk to you, but it's also in the handbook. You can read a little bit more about it in detail. So any questions real quick about that? Okay. See, like I said, we're total opposites. So, but she had a lot more stuff to cover, so she had a lot more stuff to cover. Yeah. No, and you see we all have on our shirts to say better together, and that is we want to make sure we're partnering with you to give you and your students the best experience they can have. So please, if you have questions, you have my email address in the handbook as well. That's what we're here for, okay? So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Harrison. Is she here? Oh, there she is. There you go.
Thank you. Y'all might not be able to see me behind the podium. I'm Tanya Harrison. I am in the Student Health Office on Mondays and Wednesdays. There are a lot of you here. Yesterday there were not near this many people here. So middle school and high school has really grown this year. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some policy changes that have happened in health services. They're in the handbook. The thing we were supposed to read and sign, remember? Okay, so I have a few forms that you'll need to fill out. The most important form for you is in your green folder. This is one per student. This is your emergency information card. It's important for security reasons. It's important for us to get a hold of you. But if you look on the back, it's also important for the health services office to know things about your children. We do have a few medications here on campus, just like we did in years past. And what you're doing is initialing that it's okay to administer. They would be allowed to administer these medications, but it is not your permission to give them this medication. Does that make sense? So we will call you if we have to give them any of these medications. We just need to know that you've given some sort of consent. So that's what the initials are on the back. We also need to know if your child has any life-threatening allergies. So this is going to be allergies that are going to require an EpiPen or some sort of emergency administration of something, right? So we need to know that, and that you'll be indicating that on the back. There's also a place for any other special notes. So if your child has a medical condition that we need to know about, we would like to know those things. So all of these things are very important to us. They're also very important to us for the first day of school. So if you could please fill this out as soon as possible and get it turned in, we would appreciate that. There's a basket at the front desk with Ms. Beeman, along with everything else in the school is at the front desk with Ms. Beeman, but there's a basket for these emergency information cards. This is one per student, again, okay? So if you do need any medications to be given at school, we would prefer all medications to be given outside of school, but if you do need any medications to be given in school, then you need to fill out a medication administration form. This is in your handbook in the appendix, or there's copies of these at the front desk as well, okay? And one side's for prescription medication. That would be on this side. One side's for non-prescription medication. That's going to be on this side. Again, one medication per form. If it's a prescription medication that your child needs to have here at school, that includes your EpiPens or any of your allergy medications that have to be given to your student while they're here at school, or any other kind of medication. Prescription medications, this has to be signed by a healthcare professional. We need instructions from them, okay? If it's an over-the-counter medication that you think your child will need on a regular basis, then you need to sign on the other side, the non-prescription side, okay? And that would just require your signature, not a healthcare provider's signature, okay? Also, if your child has an allergy that requires an epinephrine auto-injector or anything like that, an inhaler, anything like that, we have an allergy history form. That is at the front desk as well. This just tells us a little bit more about what to expect when your child encounters such allergy, okay? Are we talking that they get hives? Are we talking that they get a little bit itchy? Or are we talking we're going full-blown out anaphylaxis? Okay, we need to know that. So make sure that you fill out all of those forms for us to have in the health services office. Also, let's see. We had the great privilege last year, Miss Gerald yesterday called it a blessing, I'm not going to go that far, but we had the great privilege last year of being audited by the Department of State Health Services for our immunizations. So we've worked really, really hard over the summer, and a lot of you have gotten emails from us about bringing us correct and up-to-date immunization forms. So if you've gotten communication from the Health Services Office or from Ms. Gerald or for myself saying that you don't have up-to-date immunization forms, we would really like you to get those into us as soon as possible. For those entering 7th grade or above, you need to make sure that you have your latest Tdap booster and your meningitis vaccine. Those are required for 7th grade and above. Most of you will have them at the age of 11 if you go to your doctor on a regular basis, because that's the age that they give them most of the time. But just make sure that you brought us in an immunization form for that, okay? If you've chosen to defer or to decline vaccinations, then we need an affidavit from the state of Texas. It has to be signed and notarized, and it needs to be here as soon as possible. And those are only good for 2 years. So if you said, oh, I did that, if it's been more than 2 years, then you need to bring us a new one, okay? Let's see. The other thing I'm going to remind you, well, actually, this is new this year, I'm going to tell you about, is the vision, hearing, and scoliosis screenings. Every year, you get these little notes that say your child needs to be screened. It's mostly in the odd grades, okay? So it's like first, third, all of that. Or if you're a new student, which we have tons of new students this year. So, which is a great thing. But that means that all of you need to be screened. All of your students need to be screened. We purchased the equipment to screen here on campus. So that will be happening on campus through the Health Services Office this year instead of being contracted out through Pinewood. So there is still going to be a small fee because we have to recover the cost of paying for that equipment. So there will be $5 per student for the screening, period. So that will be, you'll get more information about that because we're going to start it probably in October. We're going to let everybody settle in first to school before we start doing that. But you will get some information. It will be in the weekly email, but you will probably also get a notification from Health Services for those specific grade levels that need screenings, okay? If you went to your child's pediatrician or doctor this summer, and they went ahead and did your vision and hearing and scoliosis screening, just bring us documentation and that'll count, okay? Or if your child is currently under the care of an optometrist because they wear glasses or contacts, or if they're under the care of an orthopedist or a chiropractor or something like that because they do have a curvature to their spine, just bring us documentation and we won't even bother screening them because we know they're already being seen, okay? All righty. Any questions? There is an email for Miss Gerald and for myself. Miss Gerald's here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm here again on Monday, Wednesdays. Just the standard email address, A and your last name, or your first initial, your last name, at legacypca.org. But there's also one for health services, period, and that's new this year. It's called health services at legacypca.org. So if you can't remember either one of our names, then just email health services. Okay? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Santilli. They are allowed to carry their inhalers as long as I know that they have them and why they have them. Yes, it's a prescription medication, so we need to make sure that they have documentation for why they have an inhaler. Anyone else? No other medications allowed to be carried by a student on campus, period, except for an inhaler. So make sure that if they have something that they need, they broke their arm and they need some Advil, fill out a medication authorization form, tell me, and we will make sure that they get their Advil when they need it. Yes, yes. We would like for them to come and show me their inhaler, that they know how to use it, and I need to know why they have it. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm so happy to see all of y'all here today. We've been working hard for this day. And before I advance to the next slides, I just wanted to share something that the Lord has laid on my heart to share with you today. So we're all wearing these Better Together t-shirts. And I'm one of those anytime I can squeeze it in quiet time people. So I was driving down the road the other day, did not have my children with me for once, and so I was having exactly that, quiet time. And I was praying for all of you, for all of this training, for our theme, for our team, for the year. And I really felt like the Lord said, you do realize to be better and together, you have to have more than one. So I thought about it for a minute, and then as usual, I had to say, what do you mean? Because his thoughts are so much higher than ours. And he said, let's start with the word better. If you have something better, you have to have more than one. Because if you only have one, it's not better, it's just best. So better requires more than one so you can compare things. And then, so I thought more about it and prayed more about it. Better, by Christie definition of quiet time car, means an improvement upon something that's already been. So if we're aiming to be better, requires more than one of us, and we're seeking to improve on something that's already been in the past here. And then we moved on to the word together. Together, you have to have more than one, because if you are just one, you're alone. And in fact, that's the opposite of together. So to function as one, you are the exact opposite of being together. So if we put all of those thoughts together, I'm driving down the road just thinking, Lord, you are so good. I'm going to have to share this. You're going to make me share it. I hear it already. So if we are seeking to be better together this year, we're looking to make improvements upon ways that we've already done things here and working and operating in unity, not as single individual units or individual households or individual people. So then secondly, I would say, then that's going to require action from each of us to operate together in unity. So I was thinking about how we walk onto this campus, and I think we each need to go home today and pray and ask the Lord to reveal to us as individuals the gifts and the callings that he's put upon you and your talents and your gifts that you can contribute back to this campus to truly give and be better together. So then instead of walking in and writing the tuition check and then watching and studying and making sure all of our expectations are met, as we teach our children Christ-like character, I thought we need to embody that ourselves. And this theme has just saturated our team, our teachers, our hearts, our minds, and it's just coming to fruition. So if you'll go home and pray and ask the Lord what you can contribute, then instead of coming in and seeking that our expectations are met, if we clothe ourselves like Christ, he did not come to consume, right, with a consumer mentality. He came to seek, to save, and to serve. And boy, did he live that. So if we're teaching our children Christ-like character, we come in clothed with that, and we come in having prayed and listened to the answer, and then we take action to serve one another. We come in with a heart and an attitude of service to this body of believers right here. We'll have those eyes and those hands and those feet, and together we'll be better. And we're going to have a phenomenal year if that happens. So I've already heard today down the line, computers. If he lays on your heart, yes, you're a good computer unpacker. Come and help unpack the computers or the furniture or anything else that you'll see up here on these slides. So there are ways to get and to give help here. You are not alone. There's nothing new under the sun. Legacy has been here for thousands of sunrises, and I guarantee if you're having an issue, you're not the only one. We are excitedly bringing back this year the Coffee Connections. So this will be a monthly gathering where our admin will be present in a very relaxed forum type atmosphere. We'll have some coffee, naturally, and some snacks, and then we have guest speakers actually coming every month. It's planned out. It's on the calendar. They've already been notified, and they're laughing at me that I'm asking them on April such and such, can you come and do this? And they're like, wait, April next year? I said, yes, mark it on your calendar, we need you. So we have amazing sessions like fostering the heart of your child for God. We have ways to organize your home at the very beginning of the year so you don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. Or if you're seeking improvement, hear what other parents do at home. We have a morning of prayer. We have an awesome prayer warrior and author in our body who's willing to come and do that. We have organic and healthy meal prep for legacy-timed parents, right? After we've served our family all day. So these are just fun ways to get together, discuss. We'll have admin present to visit, fellowship together, learn just ongoing parent trainings. We also have your classroom teachers who are there for you. And then if you'll go to the next slide, I'm going to try to save some time here. We are still in need of some family ministry reps. So what do? They are assigned or volunteered, one per grade level, kind of an ear to the ground for family ministry to love on others in times of loss and times of addition. I saw a stroller roll in a while ago and a big smile just spread across my face. If we have blessings that come along like that, to love on our mamas and just be his arms extended, coaching, praying for one another, and we have a list up here. Some of these were fulfilled yesterday, but for your grade levels, we're still seeking someone for 7th and 8th, 10th, and 11th, and I had someone approach me this morning. So honestly, if you will pray about that and ask the Lord, I know you've given me a love for people, and there are new people who come on board, and we need liaison families for them. That's a 1-to-1 ratio where you give them your cell number and text them at least once a month and say, hey, I'm here for you. Don't suffer in silence. You're not alone. We've all been there, and they need that support. So we are truly better together. So you have all these opportunities to serve and all of this support here for you as well. The next slide just mentions room moms. There will be a sheet out in your teachers' classrooms today. This is a very typical description of a room mom. We have class parties occasionally throughout the year, and if you just want to sign up to volunteer for that, the teachers will go through the list and we'll try to find someone who's the best fit. And then I'm going to touch on Spirit Sticks very briefly. They are back here for sale. And if you go to the next slide, Cindy scanned in for me an image of all of our new ones this year. These were so fun. Last year, the kids have collected them, and some of them made more than one ring on their zipper, and they're all just flapping around, super colorful, and they can earn them for quoting scripture. The teachers have approached me about giving them out in class. The elective teachers have purchased them to give them out in class, and there are some new fun ones this year. There's one that says, "This is a very blessed backpack." And then this big red rectangle is kind of fun, maybe for our middle schoolers. It's enclosed in an envelope, so you can't see what's inside, but it was 100 different emojis. I don't know about y'all's kids, but even my middle schooler loves emojis, and they just think it's so fun. So you can purchase those for $1 back here, and the rings are there for sale as well. You clip them to the backpack, and they like to collect those and earn them for different things. That's it.
Good morning. My name is Nash Murray. I'm the athletic director here at Legacy Prep. For all of you that haven't met me yet, one thing I want to share with you guys real quick is what the Legacy Athletics motto is, and that's to make God look good. So that's what we're doing as coaches here, and that's what we ask you guys to do as well, is to help us make God look good at our sporting events, off the field, on the court, off the court, in the classrooms. Everywhere we go, we want to make God look good. So what I ask from you as parents, whenever you come to the sporting events, that you completely support that as well. That when we're in the stands, that we're making God look good. The other thing I want to share with you guys is a couple new things that are coming to Legacy Athletics this year. One of those is girls softball for high school. So that's something that we're adding to high school athletics this year, is girls softball. We're also entertaining the idea of wrestling. We've had several high school students mention to us that they want to wrestle. That would be a high school only sport. And then for you middle school parents, something that's brand new this year is athletics period during the school day. So for your middle school students, what that athletic period means is that's a time for team sports. So if they're playing volleyball, if they're playing basketball, if they're playing football, baseball, any of those team sports, they're going to practice that sport during that day. If your student is in that class but they're not playing volleyball, then they might be doing, they will be doing strength and conditioning, speed and agility type stuff. If they're a cross-country runner, we'll give them a little cross-country workout, and we'll make sure that they're getting work in there, preparing for their next season. Even if your kid doesn't want to play any sports, but you want that speed and agility off-season training just to get them in, keep them in shape and exercising, then that's a great opportunity to put the kid in that class as well. Now, what it doesn't do is the individual sports. So let's say I said we can work them out in cross-country, but that's not mandatory. If they're playing a team sport, it's mandatory for them to be in that athletic period. Otherwise, they won't be getting those practice times with their students. But if they want to do cross-country or swim or track and field, those are what we consider individual sports. So those would be done after school or before school, depending on the season and the coaches' flexibility there to make those sports possible for our junior high kids. So, like I said, if they want to do swim, they don't have to be in the athletic period, but they can be. What that will look like for your students is they'll need to wear black shorts, and then they will receive a just a plain cotton athletic t-shirt. There'll be opportunities to buy more. They'll be provided with one, but there'll be opportunities for them to buy more of those as the school year goes on. So that's the main changes, I guess you'd say, that are coming this way. The other thing I want to mention to you guys is that we're really working on, just like Shannon mentioned earlier, about the modesty for our students. So the other changes are to sports uniforms. You'll probably see some changes coming where we're dialing it back to be more modest, to protect not only our girls but our boys as well, from any type of immoral behavior, I guess you'd say, or wandering eyes. We just don't want to put our kids in that type of environment. So we're going to do our best to protect them, but still give our athletes the opportunity to compete. So the other thing that we're doing is we're trying to place a higher standard on our athletes' behavior. So being able to participate in athletics it truly is just a blessing for these kids to be able to do it, first off, but it's a privilege. So we're holding our athletes to a higher standard. So if they're showing off the field conduct issues, there is the opportunity for them to be suspended for a game. So I've already told the football boys and the volleyball girls should be aware that any type of social media infractions that bring a negative light towards the school or program or themselves, then they're going to be suspended for a game. So we're taking it very seriously, wanting to hold them to a higher standard, and like I said, athletics is a privilege. The other thing, though, that I want you guys to know is we really want athletics to include you guys. We want y'all to be as much involved in athletics as possible. So there's going to be several opportunities where we ask the parents to come and get involved and intertwined with our culture here, because that's what we want for our students and for you guys, to just make it feel like one big family.
The photos you saw in that video might seem a little bit old, and I'm actually quite proud to say that they are old. They are from my oldest daughter, Anna Catherine's kindergarten year. She's now a junior. Her kindergarten year was Legacy's second year in operation, and my family and I have been supporting Legacy ever since that year. I'm Leah Holcomb, by the way. We've had a few adventures along our years here, and we've lived in 4 countries. My children have been to 6 different schools, but somehow we always find our way back here at home at Legacy. When Anna Catherine was in kindergarten, she had Mrs. Perkle, who is still here today, leading our littles and teaching and guiding them. There were only 3 kids in Anna Catherine's kindergarten class, which I loved. She received individualized attention, she was loved on, and I got to be involved as I wanted to be, which was a lot. But again, I loved it. We started a PTO that year, and we fundraised to literally keep the lights on and pay teacher salaries. So when Audra asked me to head up the annual fund this year, my initial thought was, no way. I mean, who really likes fundraising? I sure don't. I don't like asking people for money. I just don't like it. But as my husband Eric and I sat down and discussed it, we realized how important it is to a school like this. And he pointed out that if I say no to this, what are we teaching our girls? To run away from what makes us uncomfortable? Or do we show them that it's okay to do something that we really don't like doing for the greater good of this school? As I now look around at how much this school has grown, I can see all of the blessings from all the fundraising done over the years. If we had all run away from that horrible word, fundraising, where would we be? Where would Legacy be? Tuition alone does not cover all operating expenses. You've heard that over and over again, and you'll hear it year after year. Much less does it cover all of the extras that are needed to make this school the high-quality education that it is today. Therefore, no matter how much we hate that word fundraising, it is a necessity, as it is in all private schools. So here I am, ready to talk to you about the annual fund. What is the annual fund? Well, it is a yearly giving of our families, faculties, and board to bridge that gap between tuition and operating expenses. All of the funds raised go directly to this year and are applied to benefit your children. It is what affords us the ability to provide extras in the classroom and to our teachers and our students, like computers and Mimeo interactive boards that our elementary school teachers use in their classrooms, the lighting in front of the school, and the paved parking you parked on today. It pays for professional development opportunities for our teachers and campus improvements that benefit everyone. Last year's annual fund was focused on blessing and celebrating our teachers with retention bonuses, and this year's fund will do even more. Why should you give to the annual fund? Well, Frankly, Legacy is stronger when we're all united. With the monies raised from the annual fund, the quality of education is improved for every student. With 100% participation of our families, faculty, and board, it opens the door for outside givers to give to us from grants and foundations. Many of you work for corporations that have matching programs. This is literally free money for your children's education when they match what you give. And all of your contributions are, of course, tax deductible. This year's theme is Better Together, and our goal is to raise $200,000 and have 100% participation. You keep hearing me say that, 100% participation, and you're going to keep hearing that from me throughout this campaign. Being able to say that we have 100% participation goes very far in our community when we're trying to secure outside funds from grants and foundations. Those outside givers want to know that each of you supports our school above and beyond tuition. What will we use the money for this year? This year we will purchase laptops for our administration and for our middle school and high school teachers to use in the classrooms so that everyone is on the same platform. We will also purchase new bleachers. These were given to us, for which we are extremely grateful, but it is time for us to upgrade and get something a little sturdier and a little safer for our families and kids to use throughout the year. We will also support the operating costs. As I mentioned earlier, tuition does not cover everything. One of Legacy's goals is to keep tuition low to allow as many students as possible the opportunities that Legacy has to offer. And lastly, any additional monies raised will be put aside to eventually use towards the down payment of phase 2 of our building. And thinking back to that kindergarten year when Anna Catherine and her 2 classmates were in a tiny classroom in a local church, and how we scrapped together playground equipment, hula hoops and jump ropes was about the extent of it, maybe a ball or 2. To be able to say that phase 2 of our very own building is in the works is truly amazing. How much should you give? I don't know, how much should you give? I just ask that you prayerfully consider giving as generously as you can. However, all gifts are important. No gift is too small. It all adds up. We have 2 goals, the $200,000 and 100% participation. We need each of you to reach these goals. And don't forget about those corporate matchings. Remember, it's free money for the children's education. Remember this year's theme, Better Together. These numbers show how if we work together, Legacy will be better able to provide your children with more opportunities. The official kickoff date for the annual fund is August 28th, and we will run this campaign for a month until the end of September. You will be receiving your pledge cards in the mail at the beginning of the campaign. We ask that you fill those out immediately and send those right back to us. If we don't receive your card, you will be getting a weekly email from us reminding you, gently encouraging you to please pledge. Those pledges do not have to be paid immediately. There are multiple ways that you can get the money to us, and we just ask that all of the monies are received by Legacy by the end of April. And this information will all be in the mailer that you get. Last year's annual fund, the goal was met. They raised $185,000. But that one number up there, that 81% participation, is what I want to beat. I want that number to be, there's some big numbers, 31,000 in company matching, That's the free money I'm talking about. So the annual fund is the fall fundraiser, and it is our biggest fundraiser. We also have an event in the spring called the Gala. We don't have a date yet, but as soon as the date comes out, you'll want to mark your calendars. It's a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful evening. If you're interested in helping me with the annual fund, and working with me on this is actually quite easy. It's done from your own home. I prepare everything for you. You just send some emails out, maybe make a phone call or two, hopefully not, but that's pretty much the extent of it. But I need a representative for each grade. I have a sign-up sheet outside, and then if you're interested in starting to plan the gala, there's a sign-up sheet for that out there too. You can get quite a few hours by working on either of these and just knock them out for the year. So, any questions? No? Okay, thank you.
I'm not speaking for you.
You better hurry. You better get up here.
I have a little clicker thing somewhere. Are you stealing this? Good morning. My name's Jeannie Rietveld, and it's good to see everybody here today. I'm in the business office. There we are. And along with Michelle Kirkendall and Cheryl Laws, and they're both in the back at the back table selling our merchandise this morning. I'm going to cover just a couple of things regarding your Praxis logins and the financial piece of it. So hopefully most of you have been able to sign on to your parent portal. If you sign on to the parent portal, you should get a page, a front page that looks a lot like this, with your page will have announcements on it. What I want to talk about is setting up your saved payment information if you haven't done that already. So when you sign on to the parent portal, you have three options under billing. If you go to recurring payments, you'll get a page that looks like this. This will show your schedule of payments right here. This is someone who set up for monthly payments. It shows you what you're going to pay each month, what the total will be. It also starts dropping off as you make those payments. But what I want to talk about exactly is this saved payment. You can see this family has no saved payment, and if you did have one, it would show right there. So in order to create that, you need to go to this screen, hit this Create New Account right there, and it'll take you to this page. You can set up a checking or savings account under this ACH button here, and there is no fee involved with that. But if you want to, you pay by credit card, you're able to do that, but we do have to charge a 2.5% fee. We get charged by our payment processor, and we have to pass some of those fees along. So make sure you choose the right button for whatever you're looking to do, and then fill out the proper information, your routing account number, whatever your credit card information is. There are two places you need to make sure that you check. We have a saved payment. This, I think, will come up automatically with a check mark in it. But the other thing that has to happen, and I think sometimes people forget this, we have to click on this terms and agreement box, and if you don't do that, your payment won't be saved. So if you'll take care of that and then click save, when you're all done, you should be all set up. There is a draft, a monthly draft coming up on the 20th, which is Sunday. The drafts do occur on the weekends. I don't know that it'll hit your bank until like Monday, but just make sure that if you go home and check your account, if you don't have a saved payment, that you get that accomplished before this weekend. And then the other thing I wanted to show you, we get a lot of questions, and that's perfectly fine. We're happy to answer those, and any of us can answer any of your questions about tuition and billing or your Praxis login if you forget your password and things like that. But a lot of things, sometimes we get questions for items that are actually, that you can get yourself, information you can get yourself like this. This would be your account activity. And the only thing I want to point out here is sometimes people will call this up and they don't see everything, but you have to really be aware of those dates up there. If you don't have the right dates up there, it's only going to show you the activity for the dates you have, obviously. Our deposits were charged and mostly paid in May if you were an existing family, so if you want to see all the way from your deposit through today, then you want to start back around May 1st, and you'll get all the activity that you need to see. So I think that's all I had to cover. Are there any questions? Please say no. Okay, yes. I will have to say not this year. Not likely. All right, thank you. Oh, one more. I hesitate to say this, but there is a form of a directory out there as we speak. It's on the, I probably did these screen prints before the directory was out there, but I believe it's under other or something. I've been hesitant, like I said, to say that it's out there, but it doesn't, I'm sorry. Doesn't separate it by grade or homeroom, but the directory is out there. There is a student directory there. Is that helpful? Okay. All right, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm going to be quick because I know we're running behind, and I know you're ready to get to your classes, but there's just a lot of information for middle high school. But I thought it was important to kind of end on our theme, which is Better Together. And for those of you who don't know me, I've been here since 2006, and I'm going into my 12th school year. And kind of like Clint had said, we've done strength finders, and mine are things like empathy, harmony, includer. I'm the one who likes to make sure everybody's happy. I'm only happy when everybody's happy. And just so you know, my complete opposite is Audra. Which is why we work so well together. We balance each other out. We kind of, have these conversations of, oh, you can't say that, or, But anyway, that's just kind of, sorry. It is funny. But, and also with that, last year at this time, I was about 2 weeks into a cancer diagnosis, and I don't even think I was here this day. It was kind of fast and furious, and don't even remember that time very much, just knowing it was, there was a lot of prayers being had. And come November, I started treatment in August. I finished treatment in November, had my first scan at the end of December, and got my first all clear in January. And yes, thank you. And so, thank you. I came back with this heart of giving back. I wanted to give back to the school, the people, the kids, the community that gave so much to me during this time. And so when this theme came, it was like, oh yes, but yes, I want that. But what got me thinking was, how can we be better together if we don't know what the families need, if we don't know how better we need to be, in what areas we need to improve? We knew that we needed to a lot of things. After 11 years, you just kind of got in a routine of doing things. But we wanted your opinion. So I sent surveys to veteran parents, basically saying, what's keeping you here? What did you like? What do we need to do? What are you hearing from new parents? I sent it to 1-year parents who who decided although it was probably difficult, who decided to come back and give it another try, saying, what more could we have done for you? And so the overarching theme of that survey, and really just to tell you the reason I'm standing here, is to say, when we ask and you answer, we are listening. Your voice matters. You're a partner in this, and so much more than your child's education. We want to partner with you in your experience, and we're not just bringing you here for these 3 days and then just throwing you out there come Monday and say, okay, good luck, sink or swim. That's not our goal. Our goal is to be with you and beside you and to give you the support that you need. But overall, some of the things we heard was get people involved, get new parents involved, get them to go to sporting events, promote the sport, those events, just because it's so much more than just a volleyball game or a football game. It's a community. Everybody goes. Things like having campus Bible studies for moms and even dads. Check in on the new families after a few weeks, mid-year, throughout the year, see how they're doing. Sell spirit wear on Fridays so that the kids can come, fun stuff. Have more meetings, more high school, more middle school meetings, more things with the students and the parents, informing you of the transition from elementary to middle, the transition from middle to high school, the high school credits, all of that information. Have more of those. And so we've already put a lot of that stuff into place. And so I know Ms. Jones and Coach McDonald and myself and Ms. Bontrager are all already scheduling things where we can check up on you. We bringing back those coffee connect. Oh, another thing was that they want to see more administrators. They want to see our face, Audra's face, principals, and things like that. So we put in place the coffee connections. Those are already on the calendar. Those are going to be where administrators, veteran, new, anybody comes. It's kind of like a round table discussion where we can talk about things, but it also has, you know, the little sessions that you can gain from. We're having the first game on September 1st is a kickoff season tailgate party. There's going to be a pep rally after school. There's going to be bounce houses, just fun things. We're going to tailgate out in the front of the school, and everybody's going to go down to the game. We have moms working on spirit wear, fun things for, you know, athletics has their stuff, so they'll still have that athletic wear. But these are fun things like, you know, some bling, cute hats, bows, water bottles, just different things that the kids can come. On Fridays, they'll know that Spirit Store will be open. They can come get something if they need it. We already have in the works a Bible study, both for Monday, Wednesday, Friday campus and for the Tuesday, Thursday campus. They're doing the same Bible study, and they'll just get together, I think, at the end and get together. But, and with that being said, we're kind of revamping our PTO. Over the years, we've gone back and forth with parent-led, admin-led, parent-led, just kind of not knowing. And we kind of landed back on better together that a lot of this, you know, the teachers are busy, we're busy. A lot of the well-rounded community is in your hands. And so we want to try and put it back into your hands, and we realize that all of you have so many different talents and interests. And so within that big group, we're doing subcommittees. So if events is your thing, there's one for that. There's one for decorating. If that's your thing, well then come help for Christmas, Thanksgiving, different holidays. Come, you know, decorate the lobby, or there's a Bible study, there's a men's Bible study. There's just a number of things, and then I'll encourage you to come out to the first meeting in September. That'll help you kind of start to get plugged in, but there are sign-up sheets on this side of the lunchroom. You'll see, you probably saw as you came in. So I encourage you to get involved. Even those of you who are returning, those of you who are new, that is the best way for you to connect and realize that when you're having those bad days, that you're not the only one. There's moms here that have been here 8, 9, 10 plus years, and they still have those. So sometimes it's just comforting to know that you're not the only one. So I just encourage you to get involved. I think Christy Dunn is going to close us out, and you'll be able to go on to your classrooms.
Thank you. Ladies, you can come on up. True to the theme and just the way things are run around here, there are many beautiful faces that you don't get to see very often that might be behind the scenes helping to run everything. So we wanted to bring them before you today and introduce them to you. They are in no special order, just alphabetical. You do see this beautiful face very often. Mrs. Karen Beeman, we'd like to give her a thank you so much. She is the all-knowing front desk queen of information. So thank you, Miss Karen, for all you do. Mrs. Beth Shard, I'm sure Mrs. Jones would have way more to say, but she's our support staff and high school assistant and all of teacher in service last week. That was fabulous, the best one to date, as you've heard. Thank you so much, Miss Beth, for all you, and she probably is the one who put on all your barcodes for you, so thank you, Miss Beth. And Mrs. Cindy Summers here, our sports staff and family ministry assistant. I'm going to give her a personal hug today. Thank you so much for all you do. She loves our babies with all her heart. Chapel and all of them, even the tall ones. Yes, she is holding a spirit monkey, which is the mascot for the Spirit Sticks plushie that we were gifted from them. It is one of a kind. So when you leave here today, you are wearing an adhesive name tag, but if you will take it off and fold it in half so it doesn't stick to anybody else's, and leave it in this basket at the door back here, we're doing a drawing from yesterday's and today's names, and one of you lucky people will be able to take home the Spirit Monkey plushie. I had a couple of reminders. There were some people who managed to make it in this side door here without scanning at the front. So if you did not check in at the front, scan your license. There are a handful of them missing. Can you please swing back by before you leave today? Scan and check in at the front desk. And then to clarify on classroom visits, the 5th grade meeting will be as soon as we finish here, not 10:45, in Cafe A. And then 6th grade through 12th grade, you have an open house format. So you just visit each of your children's teachers' classrooms, check in, pick up syllabi, say hello. Your schedule should be in your folder. And if you did not come through the front, you're not going to have that. So you probably need to swing through and grab that before your check-ins. Anything else? Juniors and seniors are going to stay in this room. Thank you. So don't leave here. 5th grade, Cafe A, 6 through 10, out open house, 11th and 12th grade here. And please, can I get a round of a hand for our amazing videographer back here, Carson Keys? He's been here all 3 days this week. Thank you so much, Carson.